That was not what I expected. Not a complaint, not a criticism, just an observation. Hi everyone, it's me, Grant, the movie and TV guy. Hello everyone, welcome to Raising Popcorn with Grant. I know this is reviews a day late, I'm sorry, life happens. Nothing I can do about it, but you know what, we're here now. We're going to talk about a movie on Raising Popcorn with Grant, because movies and TV, that's what we do here. Today we're talking about a movie that a lot of you may have not heard of, and some of you will probably like. And that movie is Spin Me Round. Spin Me Round is directed by Jeff Baena, whose only previous film of his I've seen was a movie called Joshi from a few years ago. It was on Hulu. I like that movie. But I'm not very familiar with his work. He's actually married to Aubrey Plaza. That's dope. She's in this movie as well, on many great actors, so is Spin Me Roundabout. He also co-wrote the screenplay with, Alison Brie. The film will be also available to stream on AMC Plus, as well as in select theaters through IFC Films, so I watched it at home. So, Spin Me Round, stars Alison Brie, who again also co-writes. She is a young woman working at sort of this kind of crappy, basically like an Italian restaurant actually in Bakersfield, California, that is kind of, it promises fine dining, but it's almost like an Olive Garden situation where it's, let's put it this way, a recurring motif in the movie is a plate of what looks like microwave noodles with an Alfredo sauce squeezed out of a bag. Which becomes sort of like a gross out, bizarre image among many. And her name is Amber. She works at this place. She's been working her butt off for a really long time. And her boss, played by Lil Rel Howery, a lot of good actors in this, talks about how there's a retreat, like a sort of a work program retreat to Italy coming up. And he wants Amber to go. Her best friend, played by Ego Nwodim, says to her, this is like a romance novel, you're gonna fall in love there, and she's like, I don't know. She joins this program, but from the beginning, and she soon catches the eye of the dashing Nick, played by Alessandro Nivola, but things are a little off about Nick. Maybe it's just something a little bit off. He seems to continue to harp on how her appearance reminds him of someone from his past. Also, what's the deal with his creepy assistant, played by Aubrey Plaza? And for that matter, what's the deal with everyone on this retreat? Among them, especially the sort of needy, sort of doting roommate/buddy of, Buddy by self-proclamation, played by Molly Shannon. It's gonna be a wild ride, and it's not gonna go where you expect it to. Is this gonna be a love story or a horror story? Let's find out. So Spin Me Round is an odd animal, because it's one of those movies that is... It would not surprise me if I found out that Jeff Baena had directed episodes of shows on Adult Swim, because it has that kind of aesthetic. It's bizarre. You know what it kind of reminds me of? Not quite this level of bizarre, but there was a movie a few years ago called Greener Grass. I don't know if you ever saw that movie, where this movie clearly has one foot in something resembling the real world and one foot in the surreal. Even like the camera work is kind of bizarre at points. There's the kind of pattern conversations between the characters is a little bit weird, and eventually it does become something of a bizarre thing, but the biggest strength of Spin Me Round, and I enjoyed the film quite a bit, what the biggest strength of it is, the screenplay, particularly the dialogue, is phenomenal. The dialogue is really funny, in a really sort of pithy kind of way. Some really great comedic supporting casts in this, who play kind of the people on the trip, as far as, that I've already mentioned. Tim Heidecker is quite good as sort of this bizarre sort of wannabe pompous chef. I always love, Tim and Eric, great. Fred Armisen is like this very weird friend of Navalo's Nick. You also got people in there like Debbie Ryan, who's in there for a little bit, Zach Woods, who's a scene stealer, along with Molly Shannon. I think they're actually the two comic MVPs of the supporting cast. Jake Picking. So you've got a lot of these funny, talented actors. At the service of this very weird premise that is... Now, I will say this. If you don't like the really bizarre and the really dark-humored, this movie might not be for you, because it's one of those movies that's very, very... It's hard to talk about this movie without going into detail, but essentially, the biggest problem with Spin Me Round, a movie I like, is that it sometimes doesn't seem to know what movie it's trying to be. Is this trying to be a romantic comedy? Is it trying to be a dark comedy? Is it trying to be a satire of romantic comedies? Is it trying to be a satire of, Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell style creepy, kidnapping, trafficking types? Is it an action thriller? Is it a psychological horror? Is it a fantastically surrealist horror, like a David Lynch kind of thing? Is it a, Eyes Wide Shut style sexual awakening movie? What is this movie? And at times, it seems to be a little bit of all of that. And it doesn't seem to know which lane to stick with all the time. And I think that that's both a strength and a weakness, because the other weirder elements give the otherwise kind of standard setup some flavor, but at the same time, it does seem to be about 3,000 different movies in one, and it doesn't always get the balance just right. But, again, what I loved about this movie, Alison Brie is lovable, and I did like the fact that this movie was ambitious enough to be weird. It didn't seem to have any inhibition. It's cringe humor, like, not cringe humor in the millennial sense of cringe, like, we're talking like The Office UK kind of stuff. It has that kind of vibe. But it kind of reminded me of Good Morning, too, in a way, except that the only difference is that this movie, I think, is more successful at actually being funny than Good Morning was. I think that it pays off more than that movie did. However, it does have some of the same problems of sometimes biting off a little more than it can chew, ambition-wise. Despite this, though, I am going to give a pretty solid recommendation to Spinning Around, because when this movie's funny, it's really, really, really funny. And funny enough, I think, if it was at a theater, I'd walk 2 blocks to see it. It's distinctive enough, I enjoyed it. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give Spin Me Round 4 out of 5 stars. This was a solid comedy. This is a solid, weird, offbeat indie that I do think that if you have a certain level of dark humor, you might just go for. I do. I did. I enjoyed it. Glad I saw it. It's not an all-time classic or anything, but it was an enjoyable hour 45, something like that. So, yeah, we're checking out. Alright. It didn't feel long, either. It had enough... It was punched and paced well. Alright. And it does get really weird. So, yeah, that's it. 4 out of 5 stars. It's because we're going to Trailer Trash None, watch on AMC+. Was there shawarma? No, there was not. Alright, we will be back this week. Coming up Thursday, we will have back-to-back reviews of 3,000 Years of Longing and the A24 indie comedy Funny Pages. We will also have a review Friday of The Invitation. And then also this weekend, at some point, we'll have reviews of Samaritan, starring Sylvester Stallone, and Me Time, starring Mark Wahlberg and Kevin Hart. That'll all be next time, and until next time, I'm the movie and TV guy. I see it all, and I'm happy to share it with you. I love you all. I appreciate you all. I love all Class Dismissed. I love you 3000. Be kind to one another. If you like this video, give it a like if you want to. Give it a subscribe if you want to. Give it the bell. I don't know what it does. That's you're supposed to do, or so I've been told. If you want to find me elsewhere, reviews, lists, and other fun stuff, you can check me out on letterboxd.com at Raising Popcorn with Grant, Facebook, Raising Popcorn with Grant. Check out my podcast, Raising Popcorn with Grant, the podcast, on Spotify and Anchor. Some of you already have, but even if you haven't, take care of yourself, take care of your mental health. It's incredibly important. Hey, leave a comment, too. Even if it just says, hey, I like waffles. Really helps out. Now I want to know something. What did you think of Spin Me Round? Did you like the movie? Hate the movie? Think my opinion's good? You think I'm full of shit? Comment below, let me know. And until we meet again, we're all raised on popcorn. Make mine with extra butter. Catch you guys next time. Take care. See you around. Bye.